Welcome to Love to See It, a podcast about your questions,
and our answers.
such as they are. We're going to do our best. So today we're doing just a little mailbag episode to round out the year. So thank you to everyone who submitted questions. We're going to do our best to answer as many of these as we realistically can.
We really appreciate you if you submitted. Over on Rich Text, we discussed the back half of All's Fair and Emily in Paris season 5. So if you missed that episode, you can check it out at claireandemma.substack.com.
So let's dive on in.
Let's fucking do it. Should we start with some Bachelor Nation related questions?
That seems fitting. So we got some questions about potential leads for the show that I thought were interesting. If you could pick the next Bachelor, someone outside of the box, who would it be?
Ooh, so are we going like within the franchise or
Well,
just totally out of the franchise?
presumably not someone from a recent season. I would say yes, out of the franchise. I think one of
Yeah.
the things that we loved about Taylor Frankie Paul as an option is that she is not from the franchise. It brings a different kind of clout, a different kind of interest and buzz to have someone who is a fully fleshed out character in a completely different arena. And it's something the show has not played with in a long time.
What about Rob from Love Island?
Honestly, yeah.
After we see how he does on Traitors.
Yeah, I don't want to bring like a dud from the Traitors onto The Bachelor.
But like he really made a lot of people crush on him on his season of Love Island. He had a whole very dramatic and compelling back and forth with Leah that ultimately ended, which was the right thing because she's very happy with Miguel and we love them. I just feel like, he's had a couple years to maybe do some growing and go on a non-dating reality show. Like, put him in, coach.
Yeah, I love that. My problem is that I keep thinking of people who I think are in relationships because
That's so fair. I mean,
it's
to be
hard
fair,
for
a
me
lot
to
of
be up
these
on
like
people.
certified hotties just leave whatever reality show they're on or like whatever situation made them famous and just like immediately get a girlfriend.
Right. Like my first instinct was Craig Conover, but he has a girlfriend now. But if that didn't work out, I wouldn't be mad at it. Like he would come with a lot of lore. And I think a lot of people are rooting for him. Even though I was like slightly more team Paige, I wasn't so mad at him that I wouldn't be excited to see him trying to date on TV.
It would be really chaotic and he'd be like objectively probably bad for all of the women, but would it make great television? Very potentially. He's a professional.
I hope they would cast with him in mind. I hope
they would cast a bunch of MAGA ladies for him to date.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, allegedly he's MAGA, unfortunately.
Oh no.
And allegedly Paige is not. Sierra recently confirmed this on a TikTok comment. So
I take it back. I hope that he stays with his girlfriend and is not the lead of The Bachelor. Yeah, Rob is a good one. I do think that we would love to see someone who was in an adjacent space that like the audience will know. An athlete could work, but I feel like they might come from a space with less of an audience overlap where there wouldn't be as much known about them by the target audience of The Bachelor.
I think also it's really the potential problem with an athlete is that like part of what we bump up against when they pull leads who haven't done the previous season is that they don't really understand how reality television is made, or they're uncomfortable in front of the camera. Look at Mel. They are controlled in ways that don't really work for reality television.
Yeah.
So I do love the idea of someone who's already like become comfortable with the craziness of making a reality show.
Yeah, you would really want like a Travis Kelce personality. He already was the lead of a Bachelor style show. If you want to go back and check that out.
Now he's engaged.
To Taylor Swift. Yeah, you do want someone who has that comfort, especially if they're coming from outside of the franchise. They won't get to be road tested. So that reality TV background is really important, or at least like an influencing background where they're making a lot of video content.
The problem is I'm
what about
unaware
a podcaster?
of influencers in their 20s.
What
Ooh,
about
which
think of
podcaster?
which single sexy podcaster
Should
would
we make Jared Freed the Bachelor?
Adam Friedlander. Yeah, I think that reality TV is the well we would draw from. You would just have to find someone single and not completely disgusting. So
Yeah,
that
that's
limits your
it's
choices
like
a lot.
right, like my mind went to like Harry Jowsey, except he's a disgusting person. So you
And
simply
they're
can't.
already making a Bachelor style
They
reality show
are.
about him finding love.
And
So
I
you simply can't.
already don't want to watch it. So not a good choice, but like that is the direction my mind immediately goes.
Yeah. It's like, where can you go to find a group of men who have a lot of goodwill, even though they've already been on a reality show for a while? And it's like a vanishingly small group of people.
What about like Carl from Summer House?
No. I'm sorry. I can never take him
West.
seriously.
West would be good.
West would be messy, and I would be here for that.
Like I would rather watch a season starring West than a season starring Jesse. I'm sorry. Even though Jesse would be more likely to do it than West.
Yeah, Jesse, I feel like West is a little bit more like suave in a sense,
He
and
is. To
Jesse
me,
is
West
more
is more
goofy.
appealing.
Well, because Jesse can kind of coast on being tall, so he doesn't
That is the
have the need to
problem.
develop the same kind of
Like a
suave sex
personality.
appeal. Hey, don't say that. He wrote a song,
He
and
did.
that's personality. Okay, so clearly we don't have the exact answer, but we're trying to get
I
you in
think
the
we're
ballpark.
workshopping. I think
We're
you get an
workshopping.
idea.
Yeah, we're putting stuff up on the whiteboard. Um, Someone else asked dream bachelor lead. I do think that my dream lead is someone from outside of the franchise at this point, and it's in this realm. Like, is there anyone who's less outside of the box who would also be a dream lead? I do think they could do well with someone who was like one who got away from the franchise, like Tyler Cameron. I think that would lead to buzz and like a fun season. He's
Yeah, I think
obviously
for
like basically engaged, so like that
right.
won't work.
For years, we wanted to see them go back to like a Peter Krause. He obviously is
Yeah.
now married with a child on the way, or did they have their baby already? I don't know. He's
Yeah, they're
taken.
expecting, I think. Yeah, he's taken all of the ones I can think of off the top of my head who are like the ones who got away. Are taken now, I think, or I've soured on them pretty significantly. So, um, I think other reality shows are the way to go. Next question. What direction will the Bachelor franchise go after the Taylor Frankie Paul Bachelorette? I think
I
it depends
truly
a
don't
lot on
know.
how yeah, I think it depends a
I
lot on how
agree.
the season goes. I think they're workshopping something, and that gives us sense of where they think they might see success and growth, which is through this kind of synergy, you know, coasting a little bit off of the energy behind a newer show that they have some network affiliation with, bringing in someone who has a lot of clout and followers already. She's going to do a lot of marketing for them through her influencing work. I can see them realizing like, oh, that's worked for other reality shows and it's going to work for us. And if it does work, I think they'll go back to that well.
Right. I think the question is what works and what doesn't, and we simply just don't know yet. We don't know what the feeling is going to be on this romance. We don't know what is going to happen in like the intervening months because we have this long stretch of time before the show actually airs. We don't know what's going to be leaked. We just like it's kind of hard to assess that before we actually get to the point where the show is airing.
And like it's possible that the season also goes really well and mints a bunch of characters that people love and they decide to
Pull from that
cast from her
well.
season. Like maybe
Yeah.
that, as we've said, there aren't a ton of male reality stars who are single and have goodwill. So maybe they're
If
hoping that
someone
someone will break out
pops,
on this season. Oh
yeah,
my
I
God, what
don't
if
think
it's
that they
Dakota? What if they go for a full villain?
they're not going for Dakota. They're
That would be
simply not.
hilarious,
It would be
though.
hilarious. I think they would go Chase before Dakota, to be honest.
Oh, definitely. You'd prefer a
I'd prefer
chase.
Chase.
You would prefer a chase. We would prefer a chase. Dakota just teased, like soft launched a
A
new
girlfriend.
girlfriend.
Yeah. So I think he's out of contention, at least for now.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna last.
I mean, yeah.
The thing with Dakota is that it would be really hard to sell him as a serious person who is really looking to settle down.
I also just think that's like too close to Taylor Frankie Paul, and
Yeah.
they need to still establish that The Bachelor is separate from The Secret Lives of Mormon
Yeah.
Wives. Like, I don't think you can just do her ex next.
Yeah,
Like,
this is
you
just the
know,
dating show for the
yeah,
Secret Lives of Mormon Wives cast. No, you're completely right. Which Bachelor lead would you like to see get a redo season?
none.
I wouldn't like to see any of the Bachelors get a redo season. I think all of the Bachelors that I really liked and supported and wanted the best for after their seasons are doing great and are with someone mostly from their season. And I'm like, good for you, Joey. Like, good for you.
Right.
Stick with it.
No, yeah. The ones I really love don't need a redo. And also a lot of the women, I think, like, don't want that again.
I would maybe give some of the women a redo if it was going to be done right. Like, I would love to see Rachel have a better experience
Well, Rachel
as the
is
lead.
exactly who I was thinking about, but I was like, she would never want to do that.
Sure, that's her decision, right? But if she were like, I'd love to do this and it's going to be different this time, I'd be like, she deserves.
Okay, no, I do agree with that.
I think we're looking at the last like 10 years or so, a high proportion of the women leads who had their season cut in half or divided, or they were in competition for the role to begin with. Like, should Caitlyn get a redo? Honestly, maybe. I think Rachel had to split her season and it was hell for her. I think she should get a redo if she wants one. Tayshia got there halfway through and was just a fill-in for Claire. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
No,
a lot of these women deserve
Jen
redos
deserves
if they
a
want
redo.
them. Jen deserves a redo. The answer is basically almost any woman from the last decade of the
If
show
she
deserves a
wanted
redo if
it
she
and
wants.
thought that it would be good for her.
Yeah.
I do think that most of these women are like, that was traumatic for me, and like,
Yeah.
I'm good.
That's completely fair. I would not want to force any of them to do a redo, but all of those women, I would enjoy another season, and I think that it could have been done better for them. And so I would be happy for them if they went for it. So clearly my takeaway from this is that the show needs to do better by its bachelorettes.
It's been a rough ride.
I feel like at a certain point we got more to talking about how they were trashing all of their male leads. And I'm like, no, the women were having a brutal time too, just in different ways. Rough to be a bachelorette in this era. Next question. Any cast favorites that you wish had been leads, i.e. mine is Blake Moynes? That would have been a fun season.
Yeah.
I see, we have this problem where we forget everything about past seasons.
I have a limited amount of storage in the old noggin, okay? I got to clear out every person who's not currently relevant, basically. But I do believe that Blake would have been a good choice.
Yeah, there are a lot of, I think, Bachelor woulda, coulda, shoulda guys because they so often ended up casting someone that I was just like, why? And then they didn't cast people that I thought would have been better. You know, I think it's hard now always for me to remember. Mike Johnson, I think, was like a guy that felt kind of like the one who got away for a long time. Tyler, obviously, I think would have been a fun season, but he got too famous too fast. Sorry, guys. You may notice my lighting is now different if you're watching this because my ring light only has a short amount of battery life, and we're gonna work with it. And I'm gonna get a new one over the holidays, I promise. But like, are there any other specific guys that I can think of now that I'm like, I wish he had been the lead? I do struggle with that.
No, because I've moved on from them. I've deleted them from my mind palace. And
Yeah.
it's also just like, if I don't currently care about them at all, then I'm not that excited to have them be the lead. If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Although thinking about Peter, I don't care that much that Peter was never the lead, to be honest. Sure, would have been fine with Peter being the lead. But it reminds me that Rachel Lindsay also needs a do-over season. pretty much
Yes, no,
everyone.
when you said Rachel at first, I thought you meant Rachel
Yeah.
Lindsay, and that's
No.
why I was like, she would never, ever consent to doing it.
All the wronged Rachels
Yeah,
of
there
this
have, yes, the
franchise.
multiple wronged Rachels, and both of them
Yeah.
I think would probably not consider doing it.
I think you're right. I
But
think
they
you're
do
right.
both deserve redos.
Yeah.
Should we move on to our next question? What happened with Rachel and Zach during Fantasy Suites? It's reality TV's biggest mystery. So I will say that both of them have been understandably very like respectful of each other and I think just want it put to bed and have not wanted to speak publicly about what happened. You know, I think they're both on good terms and
Mhm.
like with each other, and they're both individually happy, and so they want everyone to stop asking about this. But if you're asking what we have heard unconfirmed, I can say that what we have heard is that over the course of that fantasy suite date, that some political incompatibilities may have come up that
Yeah.
perhaps soured the relationship or made at least Rachel feel that they were not going to be compatible partners.
Yeah, and they've kind of, like, talked around this a little bit in ways that seem compatible with that having been the case,
Yeah.
like, uh, our priorities weren't aligned or, we just realized that we weren't compatible in that way. Who knows? The fantasy suite is a black box, but it does seem plausible. I think it's also possible that those things are circulating in part because he just kind of does seem like he's a Republican.
But like Katie's Canadian, but yeah, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
I don't get the sense that he's like I've never gotten the
Yeah,
sense that he was like a MAGA
no.
guy.
And their
Yeah.
whole Bachelor friend group that's so cute, like, I don't think that, like, a raging Trumper would fit into that
Yeah,
group, so
I don't think it was anything so extreme as that, but for whatever reason, they just certainly on
you know,
Rachel's end,
they're like,
seem to
our
feel that
values or something are
yeah,
just not aligned in a way that would make for good
partnership. Yeah.
partnership. Um, yeah, I
And
don't
frankly,
know.
good for them for realizing that. Like,
Yeah,
be honest.
yeah. I do feel like more often after the fantasy suites, they should sit them down and be like, "You have to tell us what it was." Like, when Andy came out and was like, "Juan Pablo is a narcissist," that was incredible television.
Oh my God, one of the greatest episodes of all time. And
Yes.
then she did tell us in an interview after that that he had made her watch YouTube clips of his own games,
Incredible.
which is so funny.
Incredible. I know.
And she was like, no, no, thank you.
Uh, so we got a question about whether Joan and Chuck broke up. If you're interested, you probably know by now that they have posted together since these breakup rumors, and Joan also gave an interview to
They did not
BachelorNation.com
break up, is
being like, "We did not break
is
up."
the long and short of it. They did not
Yeah,
break up. They simply spent, they travel a lot. They both still have their respective home bases that are separate, and they have families. So they just spend certain amounts of time apart, which
yeah. They weren't
seems
together for
not
Thanksgiving.
weird to me at all.
Totally normal. I mean, if you've ever been in a relationship with someone whose core family events are not with you, like, you have a girlfriend, she also has family events. It's very common for people to split the holidays up a little bit,
And obviously
and
they
that's what they're
they
doing.
both have their children
Right. It's very
that are
hard to be
located in
like,
different places.
bye,
So
kids. I'm spending Thanksgiving with my new boyfriend instead. So yeah, so she gave this interview saying that they're still together, and she said actually Pascal called Chalk and said, "I'm so upset. Is she okay? Is this true?"
which is
This I
so
think was
funny.
actually about the rumor that she died. Like,
What?
I don't know if that was about the rumor that they broke up. Apparently there was also a rumor that she died. Even their friends are confused by the state of Joan and Chalk, but they're fine. So I do think something can happen with breakup rumors, though, where you hear breakup rumors, eventually the couple breaks up, and then you start to be like, well, once you hear breakup rumors, it's only a matter of time until they break up. But that must be confirmation bias. mostly.
Yeah, well, I think
'Cause
if
if they
they
don't break
remain
up, you don't
silent.
remember the breakup rumors.
Yeah, also, like, if they remain silent and then you're like, "Oh, they're still not posting together," then sure, that
Then
is
yes.
more likely, but if they're literally giving interviews and also it is a little bit different when these people have these very separate family structures that are not, like, so
Yeah.
easy to fully collapse upon themselves, and the thing that people were using as evidence was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So
I
this
think
all, yeah,
I think they're
seems
okay.
I think they're fine.
They're, like, spending December in New York together doing
Yeah, hit us up, Joe
holiday
and
things.
Chalk.
Yeah, what in between, like, the Rockettes and looking at the windows at Macy's or whatever, hit us up. And on that note, we're gonna take a quick break. When we get back, we have more non-Bachelor reality TV questions to get into.
And we are back. So let's dive in to some non-Bachelor Nation questions. First, is it too late to start Vanderpump Rules for the first time? No. Just no, absolutely
Emma's like,
not.
"Never."
It is some of the greatest reality television of all time. Some of the I would say the greatest art of all time. It is an incredible reality show. It is never too late to start it. You will never be mad at yourself for starting it.
Do you think this question is about starting with this new upcoming recast season, or is it about starting at the beginning?
I think starting at the beginning. I think that you can start I think you can have never watched the
Original.
original and just dive into the new one because it's a completely different cast.
Yeah.
Like,
But it's
I
also
think you
not too late to start at the beginning.
it's definitely not too late to start at the beginning. I mean, I think this new I haven't seen it yet. I need to watch it. I think it's the kind of thing that like the new cast clearly needs to like a little bit of time to cook. It is essentially a new reality show that is just being started under the banner of this beloved older one.
Right.
That's like a lot to live up to, and I think you need to give it some time. I think it makes sense that this was rebooted and it was time for the old version to end, like it had run its course, but that 11 seasons is truly incredible.
I only watched that last season, and even that was completely worth it.
I
So
didn't you watched a bit of the season
I
10 too
watched
with the
a few
Scandival.
episodes of
Yeah.
season 10, but mostly, if you recall, you had to tell me everything that happened because I had barely watched any of it, and I had no
That's
idea what was
true.
going on.
We did do a Scandival for Dummies episode on rich texts that you can go back and find, in which I made like spreadsheets. Like
This was
I
it
pulled
was
from
that was
Vanderpump
your
history. That is like my magnum opus.
yes.
So yeah, if you don't feel like watching the whole thing and you just want a little primer, you can listen to that. But I do think it is never too late to start Vanderpump Rules if you have the time. I understand it's like
Yeah.
daunting. It's a lot of content.
And, like, it's still relevant. Like, those
Yeah.
characters, those people, the ripple effects through culture are there,
Right.
and the show lives on, and so that base will always be relevant.
Yes, you're so right. I mean, a lot of those people are now on The Valley. You have like Ariana Madix who hosts Love Island. Like they're out here doing a lot.
Yeah.
Stassi Schroeder has been like filming her own stuff. I mean, you're not going to be you're not going to feel like it's culturally irrelevant.
It's almost like the prequel is coming out for you, you know? It's like, let's find out this is the Carrie
Exactly.
Diaries.
Yeah.
Back
So
to where it all began.
in conclusion, go watch Vanderpump Rules over your holiday break.
Next question. Any and all thoughts on the Summer House trailer?
Oh, I thought
My
you'd never
head hurt after
ask.
watching this trailer. It looks like so much,
It
and I
looks
can't wait.
incredible.
First of all, I have been dying for Amanda to leave Kyle, and I'm like, is this it?
I mean,
Is
as
this
of now,
it?
I don't think she has. Like as of now in this
Come
current
on.
timeline. But I think we're seeing some serious cracks. I do really wonder also if like seeing this back, and I have to imagine that the audience response is going to largely be like, you need to leave this man. So I wonder
When
how that's going to affect her when it airs.
I think the moment that shocked me the most in this unhinged trailer is actually when Kyle sits down with, I think, Carl and is like,
My God.
I just had the biggest DJ career gig of my career, and she doesn't even care. I don't know where her priorities are anymore. I'm like, You think that her not caring about your, like, 42-year-old late in life career as a DJ, that shows her priorities are
Also,
misplaced?
let's remember that this all started because Kyle was shaming Amanda for wanting to have career ambitions outside of Loverboy, their joint venture. And he was like, "Oh, you want to make like swimwear? Well, I want to be a DJ. Oh,
Which
look,
is
now he's a
crazy
fucking DJ."
because Loverboy was his venture, and he kind of pulled her out of her existing career into Loverboy because he needed her support. That was his dream. And then she's like, "I want to dream of my own." And he's like, "Well, I want to dream of my own." That was Loverboy. Like, you don't get to have, you already took over her career for years with your dream. And now that she's getting her own dream, you're like, "I want a separate other dream that's just for
It's
me."
it's just
He's a
sad.
child.
He is a child. I also saw a clip of Katie Maloney on her podcast, Disrespectfully,
Mm.
talking about, and she is someone who has, I believe, a personal friendship with both Kyle and Amanda. And she was like, to be clear, I have a lot of love for both of them. But she says that in this trailer, she's like, I am seeing pieces of what she experienced in her long relationship and marriage to Tom Schwartz. Kind of this, that she is like, was in a position to like pull this man child across the threshold of various life like milestones, and that there was obviously a lot of good in that relationship that makes you want to stay. But she's basically like, now that I'm on the other side of it, like, Amanda is going to reach a point where she's going to need to decide what is best for her outside of Kyle, just what is best for her, and she's going to need to act on that. And like,
And meanwhile, Kyle is
yeah.
in the trailer at every turn being like, "Amanda doesn't support my stupid ass DJ career. Amanda doesn't understand that we have problems with intimacy and chemistry." That's the real
I wonder why
issue.
Kyle. Meanwhile, Amanda is like, Kyle literally went out on a rager after his DJ gig and slept at a fan's house.
Yeah.
Like,
What?
this, you just, I think, expect your 42-year-old husband to be a bit more respectful in his actions
Well,
than that. Like, okay, you do your DJ gig, go home after. What are you
well,
doing? You
and
don't need
then
to go out partying after.
he's also already responded to this in the press to basically be like, "Oh, it's because I don't do party drugs that keep me awake, and it's because I'm so responsible that
It's like,
I
sir,
sat down and fell asleep on a
you don't get a
couch."
gold star that you're not binging like on cocaine. Like, just go to
Right.
sleep after your gig. Like,
At your house.
yeah, you've already, like, as Amanda says in the trailer, like, you have already found a new career that allows you to do the thing she wanted you to stop, which is like go out late and party every night. Okay, so at least go home after the gig ends.
Right. It's starting to seem like all of his, like, career dreams are just based around getting to go out and drink. And he's like,
Here's the thing. I don't even necessarily think Kyle is like an inherently bad person, but it's very clear to me that these two are not compatible life partners, and they don't want to live their lives. They don't want to structure their lives the same way. And they got together
yeah.
when Amanda was quite young, and they're very intertwined now, professionally, personally, in the public. And like, unfortunately, that's like a very difficult situation for someone to leave then.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sierra is apparently gonna be, they hint, could be all in the editing, but they're hinting at a love triangle between Sierra West and Jesse.
And I am team West. Always.
He was such a dick to her,
I know,
though.
but I find Jesse so annoying, and I just have a soft spot for West.
Yeah, I don't think that either of them knows how to be a partner. And, like,
I
we
also
saw
don't
it
think
last
that
season that
Sierra,
Jesse actually showed that for the first time, that he was being,
yeah,
like, untrustworthy and shady. And I'm like, "Oh, no, they're just, like, children who
they're
don't wanna
man
be
children.
responsible for the feelings of their partner in any
I think the
way."
reality is Sierra's not going to be with either of them in any sort of
Yeah.
long-term capacity, and there's going to be this tension. I also got the feeling from the trailer that, and I think for good reason, they are moving. Like, Kyle, Amanda, and Lindsay are about to be the stars of this new show in the city. And it seems
Mhm.
like they are moving West, Sierra, and Jesse into like the leads of Summer House, the next era.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think that we're seeing those, like, Amanda Kyle and Lindsay transitioning out, Sierra West and Jesse being elevated, plus all of these new people who
Mhm.
I have heard are really bringing it. So,
Okay.
we only got little bits and pieces of them in the trailer, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this season. It's gonna be, yeah, like a passing of the torch season, but a lot of stuff to be worked out. We have some questions about Mormonism and reality
Yeah,
TV.
mostly Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Do you have a favorite Mormon wife, and why is it Macy?
Are we that obvious? We do like Macy.
We do love Macy. I love Macy, especially after reading her book. I just made me like her more, and
Yeah,
watching
well,
this
and
season.
you read the book, so now Emma is always being like, "Another really impressive thing about Macy that I learned from her book." She's actually really cool.
She's always been the most level-headed one. I mean, I do have a
Yeah.
soft spot for actually a lot of them, perhaps against my better judgment, but I
Yeah,
do.
I would say Macy is probably, like, my, um what is that, like what's the, sorry, the grid that's, like,
That's, like,
true,
chaotic.
neutral, chaotic. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's kind of like my neutral good
Yeah. I
favorite,
see that.
and I think that my, like, kind
Chaotic
of
favorite.
chaotic neutral favorite is Whitney. Like, I've always felt like I was more drawn to her than the others when she was a pure villain, and I wanted to, like, make excuses for her and be like, "She's not so bad," and increasingly, I'm like, she's kind of on the upswing reputationally.
She is. I feel like my 2 chaotic faves are Taylor and Whitney. They're
Yeah.
so chaotic, and we need them.
They're kind of like mirrors of each other. Like, they don't
Exactly.
share all the same qualities, but they both bring that sort of, like, chaotic, like, is she the villain or is she the
The
heroine?
hero. And you also can't have the show, like, they are very core to, I think, why the show has been successful, at least in these first 3 seasons.
Yeah. I really like that Macy, like, models having a more egalitarian marriage and, like, feeling really, like, empowered in her marriage, and that she's very open about having, like, chosen her partner for that reason,
She's also a good
and
friend.
she's a good friend. She doesn't, like, hide so much from the drama, but she doesn't push it forward in ways that are sort of overtly messy. Like, she kind of finds that really hard to find space where she can be involved without making herself into the bad guy in any given scenario,
I also
which is
feel like
hard.
she's been the most politically outspoken, which
Yeah.
has been, like, very refreshing to see. She's spoken about her support for abortion care, for LGBTQ rights, spoken out, specifically against the anti-LGBTQ legislation that has passed recently in Utah. She's spoken about her own experience with crisis pregnancy centers and how she has grown to, like, take issue with that being the only care available. And I think it's just very interesting to have a voice like that who is still also in the Mormon church. Like, that doesn't seem very
Yeah.
common.
Yeah. I agree with that. Um, and then Whitney to me just like has kind of she just has the juice. Like, she's a little different from the others in her look and like her vibe.
I love the
She's
red
always
hair.
like just something I just like care what she's doing, and like I enjoy when she's on screen. I love the red hair. I don't know. She's not always in the right. Sometimes I think she's being really shitty, but like I would not be happy if she left the show. And I know people are leaving the show. Like, Demi has
Seems
basically
like to
confirmed
me
that she's leaving the show.
is,
So,
yeah, I don't know if that'll be, I assume, like, after season 4 because they've mostly
ugh.
filmed that
Yeah,
already.
I assume you're right about that, so we'll see, but Macy is a good pick. Do you all feel ethically weird or bad supporting the Mormon takeover of TV? No judgment. I guess, like, I don't think of us as supporting it.
Well, right. I was gonna say, like, are we covering this particular show that is about Mormons? Yes. I think we've been quite critical voices about the more conservative undercurrents that the success of a show like this signals, and also talked about the interesting ways in which some members of the cast at times are subverting those more conservative strains. I don't think we're like advocating that Mormons take over every
No. And
show.
we covered Secret Lives of Mormon Wives if you haven't caught that on our rich text feed. But we did do an episode about Taylor Frankie Paul being cast, in which we get into some of this more in depth, back when her casting was announced. So if you missed that, I
Yeah, and
think
I think
there's
expressed our like mixed feelings on that and what
yeah, I
it
mean, it's always
might
like
say.
it's always such a weird like, because the reason we started covering The Bachelor is because we thought it was terrible. We thought it was really bad for women, and at some point, it started to shift to, like, well, we shouldn't cover it because it's terrible, and I think part of that is just because people have different ideas about the right way to approach media that you think
Which is
contains
fair
harmful
enough.
ideas. Like, should we critique it or should we starve it of oxygen by not giving it any attention? I think that's totally valid. We always encourage people to not watch these shows or participate if they feel that way. And I do think that removing your attention can have great power in the marketplace. But I think what's interesting to us about the rise of Mormonism on TV is that or on these TV shows specifically, is that it is reflective of a lot that's going on
Yeah.
in our culture that is gonna keep happening whether we watch the show or not, and this show is an avenue to talk about the rise of certain values and of certain belief systems, and the rise of the influence of certain belief systems in the mainstream culture that have not had that power in the past. I don't know if it's gonna last in a sense because I think the political tides were shifting in a certain direction, and a lot of networks and studios made decisions about shifting in a more conservative direction that I think that might start to shift back as the Trump administration is careening into a brick wall.
Yeah, I
Um,
think you're right. I also want to say that, like, although I think maybe this has become more visible to people because of the success of like Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and then the casting of Taylor Frankie Paul, but Mormon women, especially, have for the last few decades been like a really visible, integral part of pop culture. They are some of the biggest pioneers of influencing, specifically parenting, influencing. They were some of the most successful bloggers when blogging had its heyday. This was decades ago now. Then influencers. I think there's also always been a strain of American culture that has had a tendency to like be susceptible to high control religious groups. I think it's why we see, and then also a fascination with that. That's why we see a lot of documentaries about cults, about religious groups, why we see a lot of like TLC shows about families who are a part of high control religious groups. So I think it's not necessarily new.
yeah. No, that's completely true. There has been so much Mormon participation and influence in influencing and blogging that has begun geared towards women for a very long time. And they kind of basically founded a lot of these industries. So,
Yeah.
in a sense, it's kind of interesting that they're only really surfacing in reality TV at this
Now.
moment. But
Yeah.
yeah, we do sometimes think and talk about that line of like giving attention to something that might be problematic versus the value in critique. But like, just because we cover a show does not mean that we feel we are supporting it. And so we don't, I think, feel ethically compromised by doing so. But I understand why other people may feel differently.
Absolutely. And I think that's always something that's up for debate and certainly always something we are thinking about. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, a few more of your questions and our answers.
And we're back. So I think we have some more general reality show questions we should get into. What is a reality TV show that you think is underrated, past or present?
Do you have
I
an
think
answer?
F-Boy Island should have been huge.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. Yes, you're right. That is actually the only correct answer. F-Boy Island. F-Boy Island original flavor.
Yeah, I
Brilliant.
miss
Elon
that.
Gale, you're brilliant.
Yeah. Um, Generally speaking, there have been a lot of reality TV shows I enjoyed watching that I did not think were underrated. I think they were accurately rated, but like, remember that reality dating show that was like Christmas themed where Kate Steinberg met her fiance who
Yes,
was
I
the
low key
lead,
loved that
Chad
one,
Savage? I
especially because
kind
they're
of
still
loved it,
together.
but they're so cute, but it was not a good show, so I can't say that it was underrated.
No, but if you're bored, rewatch their season because it's adorable and they're still together.
Yeah, and I follow her, so I'm always seeing them
Yeah,
being
she's
cute
very
together.
funny and they're very cute.
If you could have been a fly on the wall for any reality TV moment, which one would it be? Does it count if the cameras weren't there? Because mostly I just want to know what happens in the fantasy suite.
You like want to watch them like have sex and talk about
No,
politics.
I want to watch them talk about politics.
I know, but you might also end up like becoming a peeping Tom, is all I'm saying.
I mean, that wouldn't be the goal, but I'm curious. I'm curious what happened. I mean, Andy told us about the Juan Pablo fantasy suite, but I still wish I could have actually seen that. I wish it could have been part of the text of the show. And I do wish I could have seen Zach and Rachel's fantasy suite. Like sometimes things just really change after
Yeah, and you're like,
that.
what happened? And it is the whole thing that they get to have those moments of privacy, but I'm like, we deserve to see them. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. That's the thing. My mind just goes straight to like the moments we don't actually get to see. Is there something that we do see, but that I would rather have seen in person? I don't know. I don't know if there's anything that.
The Colton fence jump, that would have been really chaotic to
Mm,
witness because everyone must have been flipping the fuck out.
yeah. Yeah, I'm also like, I guess I would just want to be there for moments that there's a lot of controversy about so I could like evaluate it without the eyes of
Yeah.
the edit, right? Like when there's been a scandal, do we rely on the narrative of the other contestants and the edit, or can I be there to see whether like Rosalind was like sleeping with a producer or whatever? Which reality TV family would you like to crash with for the holidays? You don't look like you want to crash with
I'm like,
any
Do I
reality
have to
TV
spend
family.
that much time with that? Maybe Macy's family.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of family-based reality shows, to be
No,
honest.
the ones that I do, I'm like, I don't want to spend any time with them. Like I watch them because like these families have like deeply fucked up
Right.
dynamics.
Yeah. So I guess I'll stick with my family. I keep thinking of the Kardashians, but it sounds terrible. Like they're
Well,
always
that's
just
the
eating
problem is
salad
that like
and talking
mostly
slowly.
I don't really want to be around reality TV families. I want to watch them on TV and then like be done with them when I
Yeah.
turn off my TV.
Maybe Heather Gay and her daughters.
Oh, actually, yeah.
That could be
Heather Gay
fun.
would be fun.
Yeah,
That would be fun. Or a Meredith Marks.
that would be weird.
It would be really weird, but it
Yeah.
would be fun. And they're Jewish, so,
Heather
we'd
actually
have
feels
that.
like a maternal figure to me.
No,
Like,
Heather I love. Heather I
yeah,
would like to hang out with. I feel like we would have a great time talking shit.
yeah. What fictional character would you like to see lead The Bachelor or The Bachelorette?
Why does my mind go to like a Jane Austen character? Because like we've just been talking about dating with these like with so much repression and structure. And I'm like, how
Yeah,
would like Elizabeth Bennet or Eleanor Dashwood deal with the
yeah.
Bachelorette? It would be
No,
crazy.
that's it. I see. My mind went straight to Anne Shirley because she would just like romanticize it so much, and she would keep being like, "Oh, don't you just always think about how the fairies must have dusted the butterfly's wings with color?" And the men would be like, "What?" And then she'd be
What?
like, "Your eyes. I know those that you have the eyes of a poet." So I don't know if Anne Shirley could handle it. I think it would turn into a huge mess because she would just
Yeah, but that might be
romanticize every
fun.
relationship. And then, yeah, I think it would be a mess, but I would be rooting for her, you know? Moving on to some questions about shows that we may or may not have watched. We have not watched Finding Mr. Christmas. We have not watched the unhinged Bravo show Misadvised that aired in 2012 and starred Julia Allison, who I remember mostly from Gawker blogs at the time. We haven't watched those, but now I really want to watch that, so I'm gonna have
So
to track
Claire
that down.
has her Christmas. She's like, sorry, family.
Yeah,
I
I'm
have to watch
busy.
this 2012 show from Bravo. But we have begun to watch Love is Blind Italy.
Yes. Unfortunately, we hadn't made it through watching before this taping, and so we can't offer our complete thoughts on the full season. But
We
the
have
my
watched like half of more than half of
yeah,
it.
yeah. And I feel like these couples are all doomed. Not a lot of diversity on this season, I was bummed to see. Like, there's Parmy and Yoni,
Yoni.
but most of them are European in origin, and that kind of was a bummer to me. Like, Italy has a lot of immigration, much like France, and
Don't worry, we did get some hints at racism.
yes, just enough diversity for racism. The Love is Blind Italy experience. And then there's some terrible men, of course.
Yeah,
Uh,
this questioner asked about Giovanni, who is one giant red flag, I would say.
Giovanni is such a type. Like, sometimes these things get lost a little bit for us, I think, in the language barrier and the dub or the closed captioning, but, like, he comes through as such a recognizable type to me. Like, one of them mentions at one point that he wears a cape when it rains, and he's doing, like, tarot readings, and
I
he's
just
talking about
think
how he's an
like
empath.
yeah, any man who has to tell you that they're an empath, it's usually just a massive red flag, and they're definitely not an empath. They're just very concerned with their own emotional
And
experience.
he is specifically using in that scene the fact that he is an empath to dismiss his partner's feelings from consideration. He's like,
That's what empaths
Georgia,
do.
she just doesn't understand what it's like to be an empath. I'm really thinking about Gergana's feelings, and Georgia just, it doesn't matter to her. And I'm like, do Georgia's feelings about the situation matter to you? Because it kind of seems like you're not thinking at all about
To
her
me, my read
feelings.
is that Giovanni is just simply not into Georgia.
I do think that that is true. I think
And all
he
of his
is,
bullshit is just him avoiding being like, I'm not attracted to you. And
yeah,
therefore, I don't want to have sex with you. Instead, he's just like, I'm a repressed Catholic.
yeah. I want to
Okay.
take things at our own pace, you know?
And my own
And
pace is get the fuck away from me.
my own pace is I'm going to sleep on the couch, and then I'm going to make time for myself throughout the day by taking a little shower and watching a cartoon. You want to talk to me?
And then I'm
Please,
going to
let's let this
move back
develop
into my
naturally.
own apartment in Rome rather than moving into the shared apartment with you, which is the core part of this experiment.
He's very
Yeah,
busy in Rome.
doomed. Absolutely
It's
doomed.
funny how quickly Georgia clocks what's happening and is like, he is a complete narcissist. He is so self-involved. He only cares about his own feelings. I'm like, oh, you see that too. It's not just us watching. You can actually see it in real
I'm just
time,
like,
because
how?
sometimes it's hard in real time to see those
Yeah, no, it
dynamics.
must be so obvious because like
Yeah.
several of the women seem to pick up on it pretty quickly.
Well, he has like this whole conversation with Gergana after he picks Georgia. He has the conversation with Gergana at the mixer. She's clearly like, I'm fine. I don't want to talk to you about it. It's over. I'm happy with Parmy. And he's like, she's so sad still because she loved me so much. Her feelings are so real, and so are mine. I feel so sad about what I did to her because I love her so much. And she's like, wow, he doesn't care about my feelings. He didn't ask me how I felt at all.
She's
He
like,
only cares
wow,
about his
feel like
own
I really
feelings.
made the right decision.
Yeah, Parmy cares about my feelings. Meanwhile, Giovanni has worked himself up into this frenzy over how he's such an empath that he feels Gergana's pain. And in the course of this, he has not even noticed that he has no idea what Gergana actually thinks or feels about him, which is
Yeah.
nothing.
So Giovanni, he sucks.
Yeah. Oh, also the part I just got to, I'm sure I'm missing so much. He does like a tarot type reading of Georgia, which he clearly is just using as an excuse to bring up the fact that he's worried she won't give up her career as like a biochemist when they have kids. And she's kind of like, "People have kids and work. Like, it's 2025. Like, I can have kids and work." And he's like, "I don't know. It's gonna be involving a lot of sacrifice for you to give up your career to have children." And she's like, "Is it?" And he's like, "Yes." He also picked her because he loves that she challenges him, and then immediately he's like, "Why is she fucking arguing with me all the time?"
I hate him.
I
hate
really hate
him.
him. And then there's a whole different guy who got so mad that a woman told him she wasn't sure about choosing him, that he kicked over a Christmas tree and shouted "fuck off" at her in the pods.
Oh,
And that's a
yeah.
different, relatively
And
stable
I
guy.
was gonna say he's like the guy, but I was like, well, you seem largely fine in so many other ways. I was like, oh, maybe I like this man. And then he's like, go fuck yourself, like kicking things. I'm like, that is very alarming.
Oh, gosh.
I just think if you respond to rejection in that way, like that's a major red flag.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm sad that, like, with everything going on, we
We
have
haven't
not
had, I
managed to
know, I'm so
finish
sorry.
the season, but those are our high-level
Those are our
mid-season
high
thoughts.
level mid season thoughts. I'm so sorry. I've been so distracted by heated rivalry that I just simply
Yeah.
haven't been able to get through Love is Blind
The
Italy.
end of the year is always kind of crazy, but I also am moving over the holidays, so
Yeah, Claire has to pack up all of her life
I really
and
have to
move
pack up
it.
everything, and it's ruining my ability to watch as much, Netflix as I would like to.
And that's so
It's
offensive.
so hard. Let's do some, like, end of year sorta stuff. Favorite shows of the year, reality and scripted.
Ooh.
The year feels so long.
I know. I'm like, what happened this year?
What
I feel like,
happened this
look,
year?
Secret Lives of Mormon Wives has to be up there for me.
Yeah.
For reality shows. I enjoyed Severance. I had
Yeah,
critiques
Severance
of it,
always
but it was
hits.
still, I was pretty invested in that. I really enjoyed Hacks this year, although it was also imperfect. There were like a lot of things that I liked, but I had real issues with.
Yeah, same.
Adolescence would probably be up on my list. A very tough
Okay.
watch, but really interesting, really affecting. Also, The Studio. The Studio definitely has to go on my list.
Mhm. Yeah, this was, like, a really deranged show, but I did really enjoy it, Sirens. I don't think it's, like,
Oh,
one of the best
yeah.
shows, but I did
No,
really
you're
like,
right.
it stuck with me.
Oh my God, I forgot about Sirens. I was really gripped. I was really gripped by Sirens.
And, yeah, I think reality TV-wise,
Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
amazing season.
Yeah.
When they all dress up in little powdered wigs and throw fake packages of tea
I
into a
mean,
fake river, fake
they are
harbor.
giving. They
Yes.
are giving.
Yeah, you know what? A lot of the shows that people loved this year, I didn't watch. Like The
Yeah, like The
Pit, I
Pit.
never watched.
Medical
I couldn't bring
shows
myself to do it.
are really tough for me. They make me sad and stressed out. I did watch the first episode and it was very good, but I was stressed out.
Yeah. Oh, you know
I watched
what?
the
The
first couple
rehearsal.
episodes.
I would say The Rehearsal is
Mm.
probably my favorite. And here's the thing, it is sort of both scripted and reality TV. So I feel
My
like it
problem is
counts
The
for both.
Rehearsal. That like brand of comedy makes me so physically uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I
I loved
have not
it.
watched it, but Adam raves about it. He said he thinks I could handle season 2 of The Rehearsal, but I just haven't brought myself to watch it. But I hear it's incredible.
It is incredible, but, like, not everything is for everyone. For example, I will probably never watch Adolescence, and I just couldn't bring
I get it.
myself to do it.
Oh, I also loved Too Much, Lena Dunham's Meg Stalter
Yeah,
show. I thought it was very sweet, and there were moments that really shined.
The Traitors, had a lot of fun with The
Honestly, this
Traitors.
season of The Traitors was
It was really
incredible. You're
good.
so right.
Yeah. Yeah, that feels like it was a million years ago,
It
so
was. It
I
was
should start
because we're
keeping a
about to
running
come back
list.
around.
Yeah. Um, Favorite episode of reality TV ever?
so difficult. There are some real standouts.
Yeah.
I feel like the episode where they picked up cameras after Scandival broke has to be up there
Mm,
with me. Like that scene of Ariana and Tom in their living room where she quietly is like, I wish you would die. And then she
yeah.
just explodes with all of her emotion. I mean, is some of the most gripping, real reality TV I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that's a great pick. Um, I know that you are also thinking of this one, and this is definitely the top for me. Hannah Brown sending Luke P home at the rose ceremony,
Ugh,
moving the
unreal.
pedestal away.
Iconic, iconic. Hannah delivered. She really
Yeah.
delivered. One of the greatest back halves of a Bachelorette season ever.
Yeah. I have had sex and Jesus still loves me.
Iconic,
Ugh.
iconic. I still think about it.
It just kinda has it all, and, like, it has the mess, but also, like, a woman kind of, like,
Coming
finally
into her
standing her ground,
power.
coming into her power, sex positive, but also contains enough sex negativity for some real, conflict, you know? It packs it all together into one combustible package.
Will you consider recapping Real Housewives of Rhode Island since Ashley I is on it? I will say the answer is yes. That would probably, depending on the timing of it, be something that we would dip into on Rich Text. We tend to do most of our Bravo coverage over there. Um, but so much of our schedule, honestly, is just dictated by like when things air and what is
Yeah.
also going on at the same time. But I think that's something that the two of us as individuals will do want to at least like dip our toes into, because I think we were both very curious to see how Ashley will fare in this very different reality TV setting.
Yeah, there's so many Real Housewives shows that I'm always, like, overwhelmed, I'm paralyzed, I'm standing in front of the shelf with, like, 15 different brands of peanut butter, and I'm like, "Where do I start?" And so when there's a new season with a Bachelor person on it, I'm like, "Okay, easy, I'll just do that one," because it seems like a much more interesting entry point for me than just trying to, like, jump in somewhere else. So I'm excited for this one to have, like, a good reason to watch a specific Real Housewives show.
Would you ever consider recapping the new season of Married at First Sight? I watched early seasons of Married at First Sight. They really started to bum me out. And we do so much reality dating show coverage that as of now, I don't think it's likely that we will do like deeper coverage.
Yeah, I guess now they're doing more shorter, tighter streaming seasons, now that they're moving to Peacock. Yeah, I watched the first season where Jamie Otis of The Bachelor found the love of
Yes.
her life.
That was a great
Um,
season. Truly great season.
yeah, we have no current plans to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but yeah, I'm not ruling it out. It
Mhm.
doesn't depress me as much as some other reality shows that we have never chosen to do, but it has a pretty dark history.
Well, yeah, because people
Like,
are literally getting legally tied to someone before they do the dating part. I mean, I think you can see some of the DNA of that show in Love Is Blind. It is kinetic content is behind both of them. And I think
yeah,
there's a reason that Love Is Blind has been able to break through in a way that Married at First Sight never quite did. It
yeah,
like softens some pieces of the Married at First Sight thing in a way that like makes it more palatable, I think.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. There have been some like
yeah.
abuse
Yeah.
histories and allegations that are very upsetting, but we're not ruling it out. We just, yeah, not
No,
planning on it
nothing
right
is
now.
ever fully ruled out, but we do not have any
Yeah,
current
we're
plans.
always trying to piece together like the best things we can cover at any given time with the time that we have. So we'll see. Let's move on to just a bit of a grab bag of questions to close us out. And if we missed one of your questions on the above topics. I am sorry we couldn't cover everything, and honestly, some of them we just realized we would not do a good job answering. So maybe next time we'll get back and we'll be more prepared for some of them. But thank you all again for your questions, and we have just some sort of grab bag questions here. What does your favorite Rob Reiner film say about you?
It says probably that you have very good taste because you love a Rob Reiner film. And there are
Yeah.
so many good ones.
I mean, this is
Like,
just a pitch for like a great personality test that unfortunately we can't develop in full right now because he did have such a breadth of topics and genres that he worked in, and different people could find so many different ways into his work. And
yeah,
for
I mean,
us,
my
we have
personal
our own.
favorites
Yeah.
are, or at least the two that mean the most to me are probably The Princess Bride and When Harry Met Sally. But
So you're
there's
very
just
funny,
so many
love
good ones.
storytelling and romance.
And romance, yeah, it's very like they're very on brand
Yeah.
for me, for us.
Yeah, I would co-sign those. And I think the first Rob Reiner movie I probably really appreciated for what it was at the time, because I did watch Princess Bride and not understand that it was a comedy when I was like
Really little. I mean,
in
it
grade
came out
school.
in the
And I was
late
like, what is
80s.
this terrible movie we're watching? It's bad.
How dare you?
Yeah, no, I understand it now. But I think this is Spinal Tap. I watched with my
Uh,
family and immediately loved. It's so funny. Like every detail of the credits and just the whole structure of it, it's all interwoven together. It's just every part of it is part of the comedy, and it just like introduced me, I think, to a whole different kind of movie and a whole
I
different
love
kind of
that.
approach to comedy. And it made me feel kind of like a grown up to be like, I get this. Like, I'm part of this. It feels like it does. Like, I saw someone saying that it just feels like hanging out with the bros watching that movie. And it did kind of give me that feeling of like, I can hang,
Oh, I love wait, I
like I'm
love
part of
that.
this crew, right? Isn't it? It's
Yeah.
such a good movie. And then I think Princess Bride and When Harry Met Sally, for the same reasons as you, are very important to me.
Also, shout out to Stand By Me, which is just an absolute classic, coming of age
So many
classic.
great movies.
Yeah, just so many great ones. So, moving on, watching so many relationship shows, does it make you very depressed about the dating world?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, and it always has. And also, I think I've always seen dating shows as a way to process the current state of the dating world.
Yeah. I mean, the
Um,
reality is that if you're dating, you're probably going through a lot of the things that are depressing to watch on reality dating shows. And so there
yeah.
is a sense where it's kind of a slap in the face or a pinch on the arm. It's just like, yes, you're not crazy. This is how it is out there. This is life. You're not alone. These things happen to everyone. There are terrible men everywhere. They'll gaslight you. They'll, love bomb you and then drop you. Like, I do think that there is sort of like a bracing sense of like it captures the brutality that we all know is part of dating.
Yes, I completely agree.
Will you please take one for the team and go see Whitney in Chicago and report back?
I really want to. I really, really, really want to see her. Here's the thing. I did look at purchasing tickets, and the cheapest ones I could find were like minimum $250. Um, so I don't
But
know.
we
I
can
think
expense it
yeah, to ourselves.
to ourselves. We can write it off.
Yeah, so maybe we will try. I'm like racking my brain. I'm like, I think one of my credit cards has like a StubHub credit or something. So maybe I'll try to use that to buy us tickets. But I really want to. I did go and see Ariana Madix when she was in it, and it was really fun. So like very
Man, I've
much
never
down.
seen Chicago on stage.
I it's a bare bones production. Like it's like if you are, I mean, they clearly have a model and it works for them, which is they put in often mediocre, very famous talent into the Roxy Hart character. They have a bunch of very talented people around them. The sets are very minimal. The costumes are very minimal. Like I see how they're making their money. I'll put
Yeah.
it that way. And it's if you
That's
go in
fascinating.
expecting it to be like the level of a lot of other like premiere
Yeah.
Broadway shows, it's different. But it's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun. It's campy.
I don't
It's
go to a
fun.
lot of Broadway shows to begin with, so maybe I'm the ideal audience. I'm just gonna be like, "Whoa, Whitney Lovett's on stage," and that's all I'm gonna notice. It's in, late winter, right, her run?
February, I believe.
Maybe we'll make it. We'll keep you
Yeah,
guys
we'll try.
abreast
We'll
of
try.
developments. If you had to have a job in a completely different field, what would it be?
At this point, I'm like, I have no skills.
Right. Whatever I could get, quite
Yeah.
frankly.
I need to live.
I don't lie awake at night wondering what I'll do when the bottom falls out of the podcast economy. I'm going to become really good at doing AI prompts. I'm going to be a prompt engineer. I'm going to ask really good questions from AI. No. Well, I came to New York thinking I was going to work in book publishing. LOL.
Yeah, I was thinking I would go into some sort of like public policy.
Yeah, we would have been so
So-
good at those things. But book publishing was a disaster
And still
area.
is.
Still is. I remember I used to go to informational interviews after I graduated, and I talked to so many editors who were like, "You're gonna do fine. You have a great resume, English degree, like good school, you're set. Like anyone would love to have you. You're just like I was when I joined the industry. We don't have any jobs at our publishing house right now."
But
And I'm like,
someone
that's
else,
so
surely.
funny. None of you have jobs at your publishing house right now. What a coincidence.
It's funny because I also did informational interviews about like media, and everyone was like, don't do it because the industry is collapsing. And I was like,
Yeah.
sure. But this digital boom seems promising. And then that collapsed too. So they were right in a sense.
They were right. The problem is
But-
we're all just grabbing at life rafts, right? You kind of
Yeah.
take whatever adjacent job you could get. And my 3 paths that I had before me were book publishing, graduate school to get a degree in English literature, and working as an intern at a digital media outlet.
So
And only one of
moneyed
those-
paths is what you're saying.
And the reason I got the HuffPost job was related to the fact that I wanted to go to grad school because my brother, who went to grad school and is now an English professor, introduced me to his friend who had a similar area of interest. And he wanted her to basically talk me out of going to grad school. He was like, there are no jobs. Like no one is going to grad school right now because it's a terrible financial decision. So talk to my friend. She's going to explain. And her
And thanks
boyfriend
to him
was hiring interns at HuffPost. And he was like,
Thanks
you
to
seem
your
competent.
brother, you now spend your life talking about The Bachelor and the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
I know. I know. Did he know what he was doing? I don't think so. But at least I'm employed. I don't know if that would have been the case if I tried to go to grad school.
I mean, that's
But,
the
like,
thing.
How lucky that we even got that life raft, and then the life raft fell apart in the
And
ocean.
then we've grabbed onto another life raft. I mean, we've been so lucky. That is just
incredibly
the truth.
lucky. And every industry has been in free fall. In high
Right.
school, I wanted to be a lawyer. And then by the time I was graduating from college, everyone was like, don't go to law school. There are no more jobs for lawyers. I was like, who are there jobs
Also,
for?
it used to be like, just go work in tech. That bubble will never burst. Look at it now. You just, I think, it's kind of like you do what you can. You take the
You do what you
opportunities that
can.
come to you. You see what happens. I don't know.
Yeah. That's my plan.
All kind of a fuck show.
Any predictions for Taylor's wedding? What a note to end on.
We assume that means Taylor Swift.
Yeah, presumably. I think I heard it's going to be in Rhode Island.
Yes. And I did read the report that she like paid another bride for her date at a venue. I didn't look into it. I'm like,
yeah, I did read about that there was a venue she wanted because her home in Rhode Island, they decided was like too small or wasn't going to be viable for the amount of people they wanted. And so she needed this beautiful venue that was sort of similar. And the date was booked, and so they paid for it.
yeah, Ocean House, which is a gorgeous, very famous hotel in Watch Hill, Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I was that bride, I'd be so thrilled. I'd be like, "You wanna pay me to, like, move my wedding date?" Like, now my wedding is, like, paid for. It's
I know.
amazing.
Exactly. It's like squatting on the date, and then it's like, "I'd hope Taylor Swift wants it." I'm gonna
Yeah,
come out
I'd be like,
ahead.
"I'm the luckiest girl in the world."
Yeah. Now all the money I was gonna spend on the wedding, now that's my down payment on my mansion.
Exactly. I'm sorry, this is a real win for that bride.
I know.
I'm like,
The
"What are
only
the
problem is
predictions?"
no one needs that money less than someone who was already planning to have a wedding at this
At
venue.
the Ocean House, yeah, no, you're so right, but,
Ugh,
this person
yeah,
definitely has less money than Taylor Swift, probably. So,
yeah. I feel like
that's
my main prediction is that there's just gonna be an insufferable amount of coverage about who's invited.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think we're gonna see a lot of, Selena Gomez.
Yeah. People are gonna be like, "Is Blake coming? Are
Oh,
she
that's
and Blake really enemies?"
I
She's not
think
gonna
Blake
come. I
my
don't think she's
prediction
gonna
is that
come.
Blake is not going to be invited.
Yeah, that is mine as well. I mean, I'm not like a huge celebrity wedding buff, so I haven't thought about it too much, but,
We'll see.
if she keeps with this sort of like, I'm a sort of Ophelia figure who is your English teacher who is in a garden full of flowers, then that seems kind of right up my alley aesthetic-wise, to be honest, so I'm into it.
I
Even though
I'm
the
ex
literary
yeah.
references may be completely incoherent, it's just a vibe. So, to wrap up, to bring us maybe a little bit more full circle on topic, we didn't have like a long list of top reality moments from this year, but I thought maybe we could each think of one top reality moment or scandal of 2025 that
It's so
stayed
hard because
with
I have
us.
such a recency bias,
I know it's going to be
obviously.
like whatever happened
Yeah, no,
yesterday.
I'm literally like Jesse and Marciano's affair. Has to
Ooh,
be up there.
Marciano.
Marciano, this is a side note, but have you seen the guy who is doing
Yeah.
the incredible parodies of Dakota, who then
Oh, they're
met
so
Dakota
good.
and Jordan? He's like,
Yeah.
"My guy, Jordan." And he's, like, doing calls to, like, Macy and Michaela now,
Oh.
really giving me life, enjoying that. But, yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like the Jesse and Marciano, affair has to be up there.
Yeah, I'm trying to cast my mind back on I've already memory hold Love Is Blind, so I'm like, was Love Is Blind a rich well this year? What even happened on Love Is Blind? I feel like it wasn't.
Oh, I mean, I'd say a top reality TV moment is that we had our first season of Love Is Blind where no one got married.
Oh, yeah, good one. I think Taylor Frankie Paul being announced as Bachelorette is up there.
Yes,
That's such a huge shift for the franchise and like what it signals is
100%.
massive. Also, I feel like actually this is Love Is Blind UK, but it really rocked me when two of the women came out at the reunion and were like, our husbands coordinated to coldly dump us after we got married.
Unhinged shit.
That was that's
I was
that's
like, wow,
hit me.
British men are the enemy. That's how I learned that.
Yeah, we're just doing a short list of an indeterminate number now.
I mean, we had our first Bachelor winner of the Traitors, Gabby Windey.
That was a good moment.
A big
Good moment for us
moment.
Bachelor Nation
Yeah.
people. Our team is on top. I feel like Bachelor in Paradise was kind of a flop season for what they expected, but it was also such a huge change. Like they tried so many new things. And so that season for me was a really fascinating
Yeah.
moment. We're seeing them really like try to force the Bachelor franchise into a new era through some of these big moments. And then that's partly because the actual seasons are kind of flopping. Like we're not seeing the dramatic moments coming out of the Bachelor franchise this year that they're wanting.
Oh, I have to shout out Huda's crash out
Huda's
on
crash
Love
out.
Island. I mean, come on.
Yes.
And that moment of her like seething with the sunglasses on, baking in the sun. I mean,
Yes.
that image alone.
The Nick Alandria pivot where
Yep.
suddenly they were like, Sierra's gone and Nick is in love with Alandria now. And now there are like doing a glamour photo shoot for the holiday issue.
And it also seems like maybe Alandria and Shelley are not close anymore. Nick, Alandria, they are the only two who have like risen from the ashes of the dumpster fire of a season.
Yeah. Man, I totally forgot about Love Island until you brought up Huda. See, we're we're like goldfish. Especially me. Greg
I
always
need
makes
to
fun of
literally
how bad
Google
my
like
memory
what
is.
TV happened in 2025.
Yeah. But casting my mind back, the beginning of the year was kind of under a shroud also for political reasons. Like I
Yeah.
don't think that I was watching all of the reality TV through like a very dark filter because I hadn't yet adjusted to the reality of living under fascism. And so I think summer on started seeming more, it started hitting a little bit more for me and feeling real again. But this was my first Love Island season, and there
It
were a
was a
couple
disaster, but
standout
it
moments.
had some real standout moments.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those are all the big moments that really stand out to me as like top reality moments or scandals or
Yeah,
reveals.
I agree. That feels like a good list. And I think on that note, that is it for this episode of Love to See It with Emma and Claire. If you're watching this on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe to our channel.
Love to See It is a presentation of Odyssey. The show is produced by us, Claire Fallon and Emma Gray. Our production assistant is Tatiana Kinney-Smith, who also edits our video. This episode was edited by John Bahar. Our theme music is by Tamar Haviv, and our art is by Aaron Nestor.
If you like our show, remember to follow us, rate us 5 stars, leave a review, and of course, spread the word to all of your friends about Love to See It.
If you want to get in touch, you can email us at claireandemmapod@gmail.com.
You can also find us on TikTok at Love to See It Pod and on Instagram at Claire and Emma Pod. And you can find our newsletter Rich Text on Substack at claireandemma.substack.com. I'm also on Blue Sky at Emma Gray and on Instagram at Emma Lady Rose.
And I'm at Claire E. Fallon. Special thanks to the team at Odyssey, Eric Donnelly, Peter Arriaga, Kate Rose, Moira Curran, Melissa Wester, and Hillary Schiff.
We'll be back soon.
Can you keep